Are we live? Can you hear us?
You are live. You are live. We are going to test whether we're live. Oh, here. Today we're live. Hello.
Can you hear us?
Okay, we're live on Facebook.
Yay. Are the words syncing up with our mouths?
Yes.
I hope.
Let's check out
1, 2, we're talking all the words.
this. Hello.
Making sure everything works.
Hello. Hello.
Hello. We are here. We are live. We're going to do fun things once we make sure everything's working because we're streaming to Facebook and YouTube at the same time right now. I know. Isn't that crazy?
How do I check it? Boom.
Let's check it.
Oh, here we go.
Isn't that crazy?
All right, we're live.
Cool. Well, it sounds great.
Hello, everybody. Heather here. Hello, everybody. Heather here. We are doing something different today. Okay, so Tom and I are killing two birds with one stone. Actually, I should use a different expression because he's a vegetarian. We are
What are they, feeding two birds with one scone, I think is the...
Yes, that's what we're doing. And so Tom has a podcast called The Enthusiasm Project.
Right.
Very similar to his YouTube channel.
Called The Enthusiasm Project.
Yes. And I thought it would be cool for his episode for today that we would flip everything around and I would kind of hijack his podcast as the host and interview him as the guest.
Yes. So when we start, are you going to be the one that does the introduction?
Yeah, that's what I've been practicing.
Okay. I thought you were just making... Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So anyway, we are using his like super fancy podcast setup. His podcast is on Anchor. He uses these like really nice microphones called the Rode mics.
Rode Pod mic.
And
the Rodecaster Pro.
And the Rodecaster Pro.
It's all over my channel. Check it's all there.
Yes. And this is all new to me. So I have to like lean forward. Audio is not my thing. I have to like lean forward and make sure I'm talking into the mics. But anyway, if you're tuning in, I would love some questions that I can ask Tom and he can answer.
Yeah, we did a live stream less than a week ago. This is the second one in less than a week. And that was really fun. And so today we just wanted to do the live stream. I also need to do a podcast. We thought this would be kind of a fun way to do it. I haven't started the podcast yet. So we're talking to you guys first so you know what's happening. And then we'll start the podcast. But it should be really fun. I don't tend to talk about myself very often. So if for people who listen to my podcast, which it blows my mind that they do, it could be interesting for them to get to know me a little bit better. And I think that'd be a good thing. And you're going to help me do that better than I could ever do. I think.
Which is why you should send in questions.
Yeah, and if you have questions, and of course, if you just have regular live stream questions, I'm going to make sure, we'll make sure during the podcast that they know
we check
what's happening. And so if there's a random question from another person, that's cool. And we could even save, like, if there's batches of questions, we could check in or whatever. So
awesome. So I think we'll jump into it. And then if we want to just hang out after, we can hang out after on a live stream.
Yeah. My podcasts usually run 45 minutes to an hour.
We'll be here for a while.
We'll be here as long as they need to, just because that's the length of podcast I like to listen to, or longer, but usually I don't have the stamina. But when I'm just recording a podcast by myself, it's really hard because I'm talking constantly for an hour and I just start... It's hard to do that. So having a team is way better. When we start, we'll need to play my wonderful podcast intro music. I hope you don't get like a flag since you'll be fine. It'll probably be fine. Yeah, so that's what we'll do. And then you're going to intro.
I want to try.
This is going to be so fun. I love this. Okay, are you ready?
Wait, you know what? Hold on. Let me do, I got to do story on the gram.
Okay.
See, branding. You got to do the branding.
She's good. She's very good at this.
Okay. Ready, set. Hey, everybody. We are live on YouTube and Facebook. Join us. We're interviewing The Enthusiasm Project today.
That's me.
Send us questions. Woo, 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 woo. Live on YouTube and Facebook.
All the platforms.
Right
just bringing them all together.
Okay. Cool. Bam.
Alrighty. So when we start the podcast, I'm going to have to mute our mic so I play the intro music and then turn them on. So it might sound strange to
fancy. I'm
you
not
streamers in a second. The reason I do it this way is so I don't have to edit it when we're done. I can do it all right here. And then as soon as we're done, I just pop out the memory card, upload it, and it's over. There's no like editing of the podcast, which makes it more doable. So
Wait, really quick, for anyone who has never listened to your podcast ever, what is it even about, bro?
that's a great question. We're deep into season 2,
Whoa.
whatever that means. It's sort of an extension of my YouTube channel. Sometimes we talk about those things. This season has been really focused on Heather and I starting our LLC, our business, and sort of trying to take this thing, my YouTube channel that was started for fun, 3 years ago, started generating revenue and navigating the way of being strategic to increase its revenue without losing the fun of it, without losing the authenticity of it, and building a community around it, sort of how that works. Very like YouTube creatory, but it also kind of goes into my teacher side of it. People keep telling me they're listening to it, which blows my mind. So they must like
check it out. We just got a comment from Mr. JRH. I'm about to drive and listen. What got you into teaching? Was it the summers off? So
we will be answering that question because that's a great question.
That is a great question. I'm going to table that and add it in.
Pin it to win it. Okay.
All right, let's go.
Okay, we're gonna mute our mics.
Wait, hold on. I'm nervous. How do I kick this
off?
When
I start my podcast, I always say hello, and I just go, hello and welcome to the Enthusiasm Project. My name is Tom. This is season 2, episode 16. Today we're going to be talking about blah, blah, blah. And Heather makes fun of the way I say hello when I do that.
Okay.
So are we ready? I'm going to mute us.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Hello, everybody. This is the Enthusiasm Project podcast, season 2.
You don't sound like Tom.
Episode number 16. What are you talking about?
Sorry, Tom.
I sound exactly like Tom. Actually, no, I don't. I am Tom's fiance, Heather. Hello. Very nice to meet you. And I am hijacking Tom's podcast today because I thought it would be a cool episode for you guys, the audience, to be able to hear from Tom as a guest, because I think he doesn't like to talk about himself too much. And I just thought, you know what, let's get this different perspective of Tom. And I want to be able to ask him questions that really highlight all the cool parts about him and not the bad parts. I'm totally kidding.
Wow, what an honor to be here.
Someone also told you to poo on camera.
I'm probably not going to do that.
So we are live right now on my YouTube channel and my Facebook page, and we have it live so people can send in questions for me to ask Tom. So if it sounds like we're being interrupted, we're kind of like looking at comments, but I will try to keep it streamlined for you guys who are listening to the podcast. So yeah. So hello, Tom.
Hello. Thank you for having me. It's so
yes. Thank you for being here.
The studio that you're in is just terrific.
I know this all Rodecaster and Rode mic. These are all mine.
I've heard about them.
They're cool.
They are. They're cool gear.
Funny how you
cool
set
people.
them up. Okay, so should we just jump into it?
You're the host. I'm just along for the ride as the guest.
Okay, let's start with this question. How do you feel about being the guest?
I don't know. Actually, I take that back. I've been the guest on several podcasts over the past few months, and it's been really fun.
Yes, when he's been interviewed on other people's podcasts, I'm not in the room. His door is closed, but he's always like laughing and just like it goes on for over an hour. And I'm like, what? And then he comes out super amped and he just had like the time of his life. And that's cool.
It's really fun to see how other people like handle their process and approach things differently. And I've been on ones where before I've been on like 3. So it's not like, it's not like every day or anything, but a couple of like one person sent me this whole thing beforehand that was, here's Google Docs, here's questions, here's everything you need to know. Other people are literally like, just call me before and we'll just figure it out as we go. And some people are in between, all of which are really fun. And I don't even really know these people beforehand. It's just something we literally like, we meet each other digitally, seconds before they press record on their thing. And some people do all kinds of processing and the episode comes out 4 weeks later and other people are like, yeah, it's up tomorrow. So it's cool to see that. I like that. It's being the guest is a good learning experience. I think this will be fun because I've been fortunate enough to have people tell me lately that they've been listening to the podcast.
Whoa.
I know,
You mean
shocking.
people actually listen?
I know that's the point of it, but it's still, I started it as such a side project to my side project that
Let me
like,
tell you guys, okay, as the person who watched him start this thing, watched him come up with the idea and actually execute, he was so just adamant about this is the one thing I'm not going to check the analytics for. I'm not going to, I'm not going to put any like too much time and effort. Like I just want it to be a thing where it could be my creative expression. And, whereas YouTube, it is a form of expression for him. Obviously he loves it very much, but there is definitely a process, a strategy. It is work, even though you're having fun doing it.
Right.
But for the podcast, you wanted to take it totally like, this is just funsies.
Yeah. And I mean, I still don't really look at the analytics other than that. Like sometimes you can't ignore them. Like when I log into my Anchor page, they're just right there. But the bigger thing is actually getting feedback. And people are like, I'm all the way through season 2. And I'm like, oh my God, that's a lot of things. So anyway, I don't know necessarily how to talk about myself in a way that's not just that's comfortable. So
I'm here to help. Let's get started.
Okay.
So I'm dividing this interview into 3 parts.
Gosh, you're prepared.
Oh, I'm prepared. So we're starting with the first part. I'm looking at your guys' questions, and I will add the question into the corresponding part. So I'm definitely not ignoring you if I'm not asking that question yet. So we're going to start with Tom, the YouTube creator, the content creator.
Okay.
Okay, so you have a YouTube channel called The Enthusiasm Project, and you just hit 17,000 subscribers this morning. Cue the sound effect, Tom. I don't have headphones on, so I can't hear.
It was perfect. Don't worry.
Okay, awesome. So 17,000 subscribers. Let me ask you this: when you first started your YouTube channel, did you ever think 17,000 people would opt in to subscribing to your content?
No. I did not think that. I was hopeful that 17 people would. And it's kind of a mind-blowing number. And it's really gone up a lot in the past few months, especially.
So why did you start your YouTube channel? What was the process for starting your YouTube channel? Was it a long-winded, I came up with a plan and had this strategy and got the right equipment first? Or was it just like, oh, this would be cool if I just uploaded this video? What was that process like for you, Tom?
So we've talked about this on the podcast in bits and pieces, but I don't know that we've ever framed it the way you just framed it. So I think, not to pat myself on the back too much, but I think I started a YouTube channel for the right reason, which was not to have a huge audience, not to make money, not anything like that. It was literally just creative expression. I think that's the best main reason that you can start a channel, because it's so much work. And because so much of the work initially, possibly hundreds of videos, possibly years of your time, many months of your time, is doing it kind of by yourself, like with no audience, with no feedback really. And if you're in it to do something really quick and like make a big, splash, it's probably just not going to happen. But if you're doing it because you want to create something, you want to share something, you want to document something, and it's kind of, that's where you're coming from, that's the key to making it sustainable. And that's what I wanted to do. I had wanted to start one. I just didn't know what to start it about. And what I noticed was through my day job as high school digital media teacher, I was not making very much work on my own. A couple times a year I'd make videos, and those videos would just be like, they would mostly be for like our school district or an organization, and they'd be super vanilla, just down the middle of the road, like public education corporate videos. And I didn't have like a creative voice of my own, and I wanted to start something that was my own, that I could do whatever I wanted, make it how I wanted it. And that's why I started my channel. But I kind of went backwards. Since I had equipment, instead of using all the equipment I had, I got a Sony RX100, which is a little point and shoot camera. And that was the only thing I used for like almost just the first like 30 or 40 videos, because I didn't want to worry about lighting or sound or anything. I just wanted super easy, press record, go. And then somebody came along and was really the kick in the butt that was like, you just need to be making videos, just make videos. And now she's hosting this podcast.
That's right.
And that was really and that was key too, because I wanted to start a channel. I had made a few little videos that I was kind of like, I was having fun with them, but I still sort of felt weird. Definitely wasn't telling anyone about it. And then you showed up and you were like, you should be making videos. You should be making more videos. And it was like having someone that I looked up to essentially like give me permission, or at least confirm that it was okay, was huge. And I know I'm not the only one that's felt that way.
Yeah.
So I think that answered the question.
So let me fill in some stuff. When Tom and I first met, he hadn't the YouTube channel was there.
Yeah.
He had uploaded
I had like 5 or 6 videos.
Yeah, but there was no I don't know what
They
was
were
your,
all
where
totally-
were you at that point?
I had uploaded my first video, which was actually a good one. It's all about getting your drone license. I did a whole script. I set it up. It was a really purposeful one. And the rest of the videos were just sort of like, I'll talk about the set that I'm building in my classroom for broadcast. I'll talk about my 3D printers. I'll make a goofy video about like the Apple Pencil, or they were just sort of like, I'll just try to make a video. I want to record something. And it was summer break and I just had the time. There was no cohesiveness at all.
Okay, cool. What did your channel banner look like at the time?
Oh my God.
Like if you had no brand, coherence.
So there originally back in 2011 is when I wanted to start something called the Enthusiasm Project, which was a blog. And I had made a little WordPress banner that was like black and orange and really low resolution because it was 2011. And I was like, nobody looks at YouTube banners. Who cares? And I just uploaded that and it cropped it all weird. And that was my YouTube banner, was this really pixelated thing from 2011.
I think that's everyone's. Yeah.
Yeah. I truly didn't think it mattered at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's such a big deal.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's where you were. Now let me fill in. When I met Tom, so he had, a few videos on his YouTube channel. And when we met, this is going to sound cheesy. If you guys know, who we are and our relationship, and if you've been kind of following our journey and all of that, it's going to sound cheesy, but I want to say this like as matter of factly as possible. When I met Tom, he immediately was one of the coolest people I have ever met. And I swear, I know that's like, okay, coming from the fiance, of course, but like literally, I just was this was someone who, especially coming from a world of like YouTube creators and creating content and my whole business, like I quit my job to start this thing to promote digital literacy and to encourage other people to share their stories on YouTube and social media and stuff like that. And I met this guy who was teaching kids to do that at his program at school, who had built a whole dream studio space to help the kids do that, but was not creating himself, which I thought was so bizarre because it's like these kids, like you are challenging them to make absolutely anything. Like, you're empowering them that they have a voice, they have something worth sharing. Where's your stuff? And he was so interesting. He, clearly if you're going to build something like that, you got to have some cool ideas, right? Like you're just a cool person, and he wasn't sharing any of those ideas. And so anyway, long story long, when we met, I was just like, where's your YouTube channel? Where's your YouTube channel? Just start, because whatever you're going to make is going to be awesome.
Well,
and he was
flattering.
Just like, and like, it was just interesting because I really couldn't understand the hesitation. Like that was legitimate. Like, you of all people, people. I have met so many people who've like tried to start YouTube. Well, no offense, right? Like we're all on our own path and stuff like that. But I feel like Tom was just primed. I mean, you guys, 17,000 subscribers. This proves it, right? But like, seriously, like even from day one, I was like, this guy, the world would be a better place with your voice.
Aw. Well, speaking of just like jumping in, because the opposite of that is we met in person at the at my school.
Yes.
Because you came as an industry partner, like in official capacity, to check out my program and sort of just see what was happening. And it was during summer break. I was setting up the studio. You texted me that like, okay, I'm here, and this is our meeting the first time, which is on a video on your vlog channel.
Yeah, if you want to see the very, very, very first time we met in person, like it's on YouTube.
Video.
Yeah.
But I remember walking out to go meet you in the parking lot. You were getting out of your car and you're just holding camera, recording.
I was just going, and like it's weird because that just was my normal. Like I wasn't like, okay, I have to make sure I get this moment or anything. I had been so deep into vlogging that it just was like, I don't even think about it. It's just like second nature. And so, yeah, I was going, and he was so surprised that I was already going.
Well, okay. My very first YouTube video, or is the drone video, I wrote the script, which was pages long, which is fine. I needed to get that info out there, but I spent at least a day and a half rehearsing it, like literally just walking around the house, like, okay, doing this, reading that, literally like as I'm showering, okay, this, and then you need to do this test and that. I spent an hour and a half setting up my 3-point lighting kit that I had borrowed. I spent all this time getting the focus. I spent like days editing it. And it was
okay. So that
it's
day
unnecessary.
When we met, like you said, I was recording as soon as I got out of my car. I was already like halfway through the vlog because I had started recording I had to go and take a bathroom break because he's like 2.5 hours away. So I was like, I was literally in the bathroom recording the toilet because it had this like automatic toilet seat cover thing. And I was like fascinated by it. So that's what I was like, that was the
headspace you were in.
when we met. And I just was going. And it was cool to see like your, we've talked about this before, but I don't think you had met that many content creators who were like your same age bracket.
None, literally none. Yeah.
And I could tell that there was this sense of like, I want to be a part of that. Like I could, there was just this vibe.
It was like,
vibing.
I was vibing. It was like feeling as though I spoke a language that other people around me didn't speak, and suddenly like there was someone who spoke that language and I could just like communicate in a different way that was natural and easy, and all this stuff that I was kind of embarrassed about because it was nerdy or it was ridiculous. You were like, this is cool and that's cool, and I was like, it's cool. Like, I don't know. I mean, it is cool. I realize that now, but I was just like, I was so scared of like getting made fun of or whatever.
Oh, and you know what? I'm going to tell you guys this. If you get a chance, if you're a fan of Tom and all his content, I highly encourage you to go to his YouTube channel and sort his videos by oldest. And you can thank me later because it's so, I wish he would vlog more. I really wish he would vlog more.
There's
no way he's ever going to do it because, you guys are subscribing for a reason and the branding and all of that. And obviously he enjoys the videos that he makes. But honestly, like his vlogs were, oh my gosh, I was definitely part of the notification squad. Like first one to comment. They're just so cool. They're so fun. They're so like, I don't know. It was just so cool.
They were really fun to make.
Yeah. And no one watches them, now.
Yeah. I mean, no one watched them then either, but no one watches them now too.
Anyway, go check them out because they're awesome. So, okay. Next question. Now that you're 17,000 subscribers, how many videos are we on?
182.
Oh my gosh.
Well, there's a couple unlisted like live streams and things. So I'm not counting those. 182
videos
episodes
that are
edited videos. Yeah.
Okay. What is one thing that you have learned about the YouTube world or creating on YouTube that other people don't know, or is a misconception maybe, or something that just like you wouldn't know until you actually are this far in?
I mean, the biggest thing is sustainability. So I think people do think like, well, I made 5 videos. I made 10 videos. Like my channel's not taking off. What's wrong? It's like, I know you're going to have to make a lot more and it's probably still not going to take off that much, but it grows. It will grow eventually if you're putting yourself out there and you're being authentic and genuine. YouTube is a platform that thrives on authenticity. And I think we're really seeing that currently, where everybody is kind of locked at home and a lot of shows that traditionally are done in studios are being done at home. The hosts and the shows that can lean more into authenticity seem to be doing a bit better because they're on a platform where that is the currency. And beyond that, it's really embracing the things that make you you. So even it's been kind of recent in maybe the past like 3 months that I've really tried to double down on like cheesy jokes and puns in my videos.
I hope you guys have been able to notice that because I have the privilege of being able to watch all of Tom's videos first before they even go on YouTube.
And all you had to do was say you're going to marry me to get that privilege. but that's a thing. Like, so I've been doing cheesy jokes in my classroom for years. Like that's when I start, usually I'll start my classes by doing like a lecture, workshop or whatever, just daily announcements is what we're doing, give everyone direction. And then we go and like everyone does their thing because everything's so project based. And before we do the like break at the end of my thing, it's always like, it just now it's sort of like a routine in all the classes where it's like, are there any questions? So I'm like, is there a joke of the day? There is the joke of the day, blah, 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 blah. And it's just cheesy jokes that I can find that will be entertaining. And part of me is like, gosh, that's almost distracting because I can be delivering all this knowledge I think is really important, and kids are just like, what's the joke? And it's like, okay, pay attention to the stuff I'm saying and then the joke. But at the same time, I've had so many kids like after graduation or whatever tell me that helped so much because it made the class so much fun. It brightened their day when they were like feeling down or whatever. It just did something that was goofy, and it's just sort of become this endearing thing of like cheesy jokes. But for some reason on my channel, I was just so worried about getting the information out that I was worried it was almost becoming too dry. And I was like, but I'm cheesy and I make cheesy jokes all the time. So I'm going to make sure in every video, not only are there just the normal puns and goofy things I would do in my real life, but I'm going to try to actually do like setup, punchline, old school style joke, that's probably going to be really bad, but it's going to be sprinkled in there somewhere. And I've started to notice people really responding to that in the same way my students do, where it's like, that's kind of the thing they're looking for. It's sort of this really fun thing, but that's my way of connecting with an audience. That's the thing that I can bring to the table that's not necessarily unique to me, but the way I'm doing it is unique to me. And I've known other creators, like Peter Lindgren is one of my favorite YouTube creators in like the photo video world. He had a channel that completely blew up last year. And he's a super nice guy. He's from Sweden, and so English isn't his first language. And early on in his channel, he talked about how he was trying to figure out, does he speak Swedish? Does he speak English? Does he need to redo his videos to get rid of the accent? Blah, blah, blah. And then it just came down to like, it's okay to have a Swedish accent. It's okay to mispronounce things. It's okay to do all that. And then his channel blew up. He went from like 10,000 to 300,000 almost subscribers in the span of a few months. And the more you can lean into you, I guess, whatever your thing is, if your thing is being super high energy, if your thing is being mellow and laid back, if you like cheesy jokes, if you like really in-depth technical information, whatever that is, lean into it, because regardless of what you're talking about, it's your perspective on that thing that makes you unique. And that's what people will end up wanting to connect with and identify with. And that's what's going to make you special in this really crowded world.
It's crazy how long it took you to figure that out.
Oh my God.
I mean, it took me a while to figure that out. I think it takes, I think it's normal for it to take a while, but
well, I think it's a different level too, because first you just have to like get comfortable making videos, get comfortable on camera, figure out your style. Like, it's sort of like if you talk about like the hierarchy of needs in the video world, figuring out that is definitely an upper level thing. The base level is just trying to get your stuff out there and made, which is, tricky.
So I would say that you have figured out a system, a process.
Sure.
Okay, you've made 182 videos where we have a system now.
Yeah.
What is the hardest part? Is there still a hard part?
Oh, yeah.
Is there still a struggle to this whole content creating thing? Because I think, especially, 17,000 to me is a huge milestone. I think that's like, if you're starting from 0 or you're still like under 1,000, you're like, wow, 17,000. That's amazing.
That's ridiculous.
You must know everything. Like, you must have it all figured out, right? What's the hard part?
So there's a couple that I struggle with. Personally, ideas aren't too much of an issue because I'm really good at my idea notebook, which I've talked about lots of times before. And that's just having a notebook, a physical notebook where I write down all of my ideas. And that's huge. So when I need ideas, I can just flip through there and find the one I want to make. So I'm not super struggling with ideas. I do struggle with thumbnails and titles, which are sadly, in a way, the most important thing, because doesn't matter how good the video is. People aren't going to click on it if it doesn't have a good thumbnail and a good title. So that's really tough. And trying to take a great thumbnail photo, make it just so interesting and appealing that someone would want to click on it, but have it be like on brand, quote unquote, so it fits in with the other ones. Have the title be interesting, not clickbaity, but that is really tricky. I struggle with that. I also do this thing where I get really nervous before I make a video.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
I get really nervous. I mean, you probably didn't know it, but I bet you can tell if I just get a little like kind of antsy and there's sort of this anxiety of like, I have all my ideas and it's like, okay, like, can I pull this off? Can I, even if it's not complicated, like, oh, that's how I feel. Like, can I like, is it going to work? Is the camera going to work right? Is it going to sound good? Am I going to mess something up? Am I going to leave something out? Am I going to get all the shots that I need? It's just sort of like, is everything going to come together and do it? And I get really nervous before every video, and then I feel really relieved when it's all done and I've checked everything, and I'm like, okay, it sounds good. Everything's there.
You pushed record.
I've got my freaking bullet points that I check off. So all I have to do is hit all the bullet points and it's done. But for some reason, I'm surprised every time that it happens. And I still get very nervous every time.
So you have a community now. You have can you
I have a really cool community of people. Yeah.
Right. So you have there are people that there are regulars. You have your, people who watch every video.
Yeah. Yeah.
Describe your community. Do they all look the same? Do they have like the similar goals?
It seems like I haven't done like crazy analytical research, but my community seems to be, well, I mean, I know like the analytics that is there music playing in the background?
Yeah, that's the dishwasher.
Oh. Sorry. It's like the washing machine is not on. I have the analytics, so I know the ages and things, but they kind of spread out between, early 20s, 50s, 60s, most people kind of around my age-ish, our age. But mostly male in terms of subscribers. But the key thing, regardless of age, location, whatever, is a lot of them are people who are trying to make stuff, and a lot of them are at that point where I was when we met, where they're at the like, I have everything, I want to do it, I got the idea, but I haven't like pushed record yet. And they're finding a lot of help and motivation through my videos, which is really, really cool. In general, they're super positive, super curious, super proactive, which is really fun to engage with. I know YouTube, like there's bad comments everywhere. I get bad comments for sure. I
just had to block a few.
I know. I wasn't bringing it up, but I was watching that whole thing happen. That happens, but I feel like in general, the photo video community on YouTube is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And
everyone's there to make stuff.
Yeah, and I feel like because of where I've positioned myself as not expert filmmaker, but just more like video production guy, like I'm okay admitting what I don't know. I kind of use equipment that is sort of like, it's not low end budget, but it's not what they're going to use in like a Hollywood film. Probably
it's still like hobby budget.
It's like higher end hobby budget stuff, so it's attainable to like an average. I think there's an accessibility there that's important, and it just seems to have brought out like a really cool group of people that's super fun to deal with.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I know. I'm really happy.
So what's next? Do you have any like big things in the pipeline?
Well, we've talked about a few on podcasts. So ideally, at some point, I don't know if this would be possible, I would love to be able to make 2 YouTube videos a week. I don't know. I did it this week. I've released 2 this week.
Yeah, but we're getting a puppy, so
really, yeah.
Good luck with that.
I know. So that might not happen. I would like to I'd like to start and then make my online course.
So excited for that.
Heather just locked herself away basically all of last month to redo and revitalize hers, which I talked about in last week's episode. It's really, really good, but that was a great model of me seeing like, okay,
what it takes.
It's very different than just making a YouTube tutorial video. Like it's a lot more in depth. It's a lot more like designing something for the actual classroom. I would love to do an online course just because I think I could make a good one. I think I can make a helpful one. I think it'd be a fun process, and I would definitely love to have another stream of revenue just because that's important, especially in these crazy times, to not just have all your eggs in one basket for sure. Those are really the biggest things I'm doing right now, because I want to just keep upping my video game and just making, not my video games, but my game in the world of videos, and just I'm really happy with what I'm doing, and I just want to keep doing it.
Sweet. All right, we're moving on to phase 2 because I'm looking at the time here, and I don't want this to be like the longest podcast episode ever. So we're moving on to Tom the Teacher, which you have talked about Tom the Teacher, I think pretty, in depth on your podcast.
Yeah, I bring it up.
So I think I only have one question aside from any audience questions that come in about you being a digital media production teacher for high school students. If you guys want to ask questions, now's the time. But my question is for the class of 2020.
Okay.
What is your one piece of advice? What would you say? What are your what's your commencement speech in a nutshell? how, what wise words can you leave
I don't
and
know.
impart
Okay, I have been
for
through,
high school students?
I've
Let's
been
say
through a
this.
number of graduations.
Okay.
A lot of them, because not only my schools, but we also do live streaming of other schools' graduations. So typically every year I'll go through about 4 high school graduations. And over the past 10 years, it's a lot of graduations. I have heard the speech of whatever year, class of year, it is our time to show the world. We have done, it's like, guys, like this year's not that different from last year, honestly. Class of 2020 definitely has a different situation because their year essentially ended 2/3 of the way through, and they've gotten they've just not had the best luck. So class of 2020 is tough. They're going to be coming into a world where everything's a little bit different. And so the biggest advice I can give in that is to do your absolute best to remain optimistic and to not be afraid to let the world know what you have to offer, in that your skills, your interests, your whatever, like people aren't going to come to you and ask you. You need to let people know what you have to bring to the table. And that ties into what we have talked about in my class before, which was that the world does not care about you, which sounds really bad at first, but we've had these class discussions where it's like the world doesn't care about you. You're in high school and you've got teachers and you've got staff, and you've got these people who, if they don't hear from you, they're going to email you and check in, and they're going to talk to you, and they're going to do all this stuff. But the rest of the world, the real world,
when you graduate,
nobody cares. You don't go to work, okay, you get fired. You don't go to your college classes, okay, you're dropped or you fail and you just lose your money. Nobody cares. But I framed that as, because the world doesn't care about you, it means the world's also not actively trying to stop you. It's not necessarily trying to help you. It's not trying to stop you. It's in a way indifferent towards you, which puts you in the position of power to do what you want with your life and your time. And when you're young and you're starting out, that's the time to really kind of experiment and figure out what you want. And anytime you have a goal, that's a good place to be. It doesn't matter really what the goal is, as long as it's positive. But if you're just sort of aimless and I don't know what I'm doing and I'm just sort of wasting every day, that's bad. If your goal is something and you pursue it, it's going to take you down all these other roads that you didn't know were there, but it's not going to happen if you don't have a goal. So staying optimistic, letting the world know what you have, having a goal and pursuing it. I mean, those are really the keys. And of course, work hard, be kind, have fun.
The 3 keys to success
Sure.
by Tom.
That's me.
Yes. Okay, cool. So we have a question from the audience.
Hooray.
Mr. JRH. What got you into teaching? Was it the summers off?
Summers off are definitely nice, not going to lie. But those hours are made up for during the rest of the school year. Let me just tell you. Summers off are great. I wanted to go to film school as a kid, and I was really scared of the uncertainty of the film school lifestyle and the budget. And I also really liked teaching, and I was really good at English. And I decided when I was in high school that teaching would be really cool. It seems like a really positive thing to do. It leaned into one of my strengths, and it would open up through summers and through a solid paycheck an opportunity to do other stuff that I wanted to do on the side without having to put the pressure of that being my main source of income on it, which is kind of exactly what happened. So yay.
No regrets?
No regrets on that, especially, well, I graduated high school in 2004. Now it's definitely a little bit different, the world of film school and not film school, but I definitely don't regret the inexpensive community college, state school for a subject I was interested in, no student debt by the end of it, like that I've learned so much over the past 10 years teaching that, like,
you're a great teacher. You're
Thank you.
Perfect for it.
Thanks.
Let's see. We have a comment here. Hello, sweetie. Asked Tom how to keep persistence on doing something. He's so dedicated.
I don't know.
That's such a good question. You know what? Like, literally, this is my fiance. He is so consistent. I am not. I am like so not. I mean, one of the first things I'll tell you if you meet me is like, I have ADHD. I found out I had ADHD when I was 30. So it was interesting being diagnosed as an adult and an entrepreneur who works for herself. Like, my mind is just like, I work best when someone is telling me what to do. Like, I would be the best, like, second person. second in command. Like, if you tell me what the goal is, I will make it happen. I will do it the best way that you could ever imagine. But actually making the decisions and figuring out what to focus on, I have trouble. Tom is good at all of those things, just all of it. He's just
that's
amazing.
me. I'm just,
He's just
you're
perfect.
welcome. Right.
Yeah, you are able to work, maintain your normal job, maintain a YouTube channel, and still have it grow, and now have a podcast, and still have sanity.
And I never get stressed, and I never make myself sick over it. Right? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
So anyway, how do you keep persistence on doing something? How do you stay so dedicated?
So one is doing something you actually like to do. So I like teaching. I like having a YouTube channel. That really helps. If I were just going to like, I don't know.
Yeah, then you're dragging your feet to do something.
Yeah, if I was going to the dog food factory every day, it might not be my ideal job. Maybe it would be, but probably not. The other part is growing up, like we didn't have a lot, and my parents, especially my mom, worked really, really hard. I mean, my dad worked really, really hard as well. But what I saw with my mom was she hadn't gone to school. She hadn't gone to college after high school. And it wasn't until I was in like my early teens that she went back to school. And I saw like trying to take care of me and provide for me. And then also going to work every day with like an hour commute, then going to night school. In some cases, the classes being an hour and a half away, and then a 2.5 hour commute home, and then just doing that every single day. And that was just, and then somehow managing to like take care of everything at home and even go hiking on the weekends, and just sort of with very little, I mean,
making it happen,
and very little income, and and it was just sort of like, we lived in a small house that wasn't very fancy, but it was really like well taken care of with the little like old hand-me-down furniture and everything that we had. And that just kind of stuck with me on like that, I guess that work ethic got instilled. And then it's just sort of, because you have a goal. I remember deciding to sign up for my teaching credential program after I graduated, because I was at this crossroads where I had my bachelor's degree. The economy was terrible because it was 2009 and I didn't know what to do. And so I was thinking of just going to art school and getting another degree and going in a different direction. And I got accepted into Art Center, which was a really hard school to get into, but it was going to be like over 200 grand. And then the teaching credential program was like 20 grand total for teaching credential and master's. And I was like, okay, one of those numbers is way more manageable than the other. And the art school one, because of the schedule, you can't work while you do it. So you can't earn money to spend the money. Yeah, it's tricky. And so I remember I was like, okay, teaching credential program. I looked at it. It was like a 2-year program. If you work your butt off and you sign all these waivers, you might be able to do it in 1 year. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go in there. I'm going to sign up, and I'm not going to do anything for another year. Like, I'm not going to hang out with friends. I'm not going to go on trips. I'm just going to be a hermit who does nothing but school and work for the next year. But knowing that there's an end goal. And then that's what I did. And it's so crazy. It really sucked at a lot of times, but knowing you're like, okay, it's not 40 years. Yeah. It's this 1 year. And the same thing goes. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I always went to school, worked multiple jobs. Like, just having a goal and doing whatever you need to do to get there. It's tricky, but I just can't. I'm so scared of losing things and not doing what I need to do that I'm too scared to not do it. So.
Okay, so that's like life.
So it's fear motivated.
But let's talk about something like your podcast or YouTube. Like, how do you stay consistent? Like, okay, so it's been over a year now that you've uploaded a YouTube video every Thursday, 5:15 a.m.
It's just, I mean, you treat it the same way you would treat a job. Like, I can't go to work.
There you go.
I can't go to work on the days that I kind of feel like it. Most of the days when I wake up at 5:15, I do not feel like going to work. Every of the days. But you have to go, and it's just kind of the same thing. Like, I want to do this now that there's audience and people watching. Like, I actually want people to
show for them.
Yeah, I want it to be there for them. I'm a little more lax with the podcast. That's the thing, that if something does happen and I can't do one for that week or whatever, I'll let it slide for a week, and everyone seems pretty cool with that. I try not to do that very often, but like sometimes, like, I can only do so much. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just treating it with the same respect. I put a lot of hard work into it, and not taking it seriously feels like it's disrespectful to the time, energy, and effort that went into it.
All right, this question is from Tony Garcia. When you need to be amped up, what's your go-to song to get motivated?
Tony, my master teacher.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, My first day in a classroom was as a sub for his class. Go-to song to get amped up really depends. Any Aquabat song will do. A lot of Green Day will do, and a lot of
You would say Green Day over Blink-182
to get amped, yeah. And a lot of the Interrupters will just like, it's just that like energy, punk rock, like let's go do this thing kind of like attitude. I really get into that a lot.
Captain JC Rage said 100% agree. As long as you love what you do, it will not be an easy task, and time seems to just fly. It will not be an easy task. Yeah, and time seems to just fly.
Yeah. And it's tricky because I always say like, oh, you should have fun while you're doing this, fun while you're doing this. Having fun doing something, I think maybe I'm phrasing it wrong, but it's like you should enjoy or get a satisfaction out of what you're doing. It doesn't mean that it's always going to be easy or fun, but it means like I remember picking up a camera for the first time, loving it, being excited about it. It doesn't mean every time I need to record something, it's the easiest, most fun thing in the world, but there's that like sense of this is a thing I love doing and I really want to keep doing this. And that's really key.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to Tom the person. Oh, yeah. Captain said it will be an easy task. Yes, it will be an easy task. Okay, Tom the person.
Mm-hmm.
First question.
Okay.
When's the wedding?
Oh, that's a great. Is this your question or is this? Is this from the audience?
This is from me.
Okay, this is a great question. So we got engaged in October.
Yes, we did.
And then we set a wedding date for this October.
Yes, we did.
And then the world shut down.
Yes. And then there you go.
And yeah, and then our wedding date originally wasn't really affected, except that we live in the Coachella Valley, and then the Coachella Music Festivals got rescheduled to when?
The actual wedding date, the weekend of our wedding date.
Which sort of put a wrench in everything, not necessarily for us booking venues, but in terms of availability for guests to be there, and price rates for everything, doubled or more.
Yeah.
So then we're trying to switch that around, and then everything shut down, and now we don't really know when things are going to reopen. So we don't know when like the party ceremony thing will happen. Hopefully 2020, but we don't know. What we do know is that last week we submitted paperwork through our county for a marriage license because they said they'd start doing virtual
marriage
things
through video conference. The governor declared it for the next 60 days. You can do that. And I was like, oh, hello, let's figure this out.
Well, that's the most important part, is the actual getting married part, more so than just having and we don't know, like, even when things are open, how many people are going to want to travel and stay in hotels, and like, we don't know.
I can't see a world where like a wedding happens yet.
Right.
I don't know when that's going to be. And until I can feel that like reassurance of like, yes, we're opening our doors. People can come in. There will be vendors and people and food. And, I don't want like my wedding pictures to have everyone with face masks on, So, we just want to get married, and then we'll definitely have a big celebration party at some point.
Yeah. So right now we're looking at video conference through the county, commissioner or whatever, county clerk.
Yeah.
And possibly some tie into Animal Crossing if possible.
And YouTube Live.
And YouTube, we'll figure it out. It'll be very digital media savvy. If we met on YouTube, why not get married on YouTube?
Yes. Okay, cool. All right. So this is just going to be rapid fire questions. And if you guys have more, let me know.
Let's do it.
Here we go. Favorite ice cream?
Anything with fudgy brownies. Oh, wait, no. Birthday cake remix from Cold Stone.
Favorite YouTube channel?
Ooh. Heather Just Create. Okay.
Besides mine.
Okay.
And then you can name 3.
Okay. Ooh, Film Riot, because I wouldn't be able to do my job without them. This is so hard. I really do love Peter Lindgren, and I'm gonna say Luke Towan, because he's great, and I have gotten so much therapy from his channel.
Favorite music artist?
The Aquabats.
Oh, duh.
Yeah, that's easy.
Favorite food?
Sandwich.
Favorite movie?
Tommy Boy.
Random fact.
I'm scared of drains.
Oh my gosh. So
For
scared.
my whole life. I hate drains. I hate empty pools. The worst.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sian just got here. Hi, Sian. Tony says, has a decision been made on the breed of dog you'll be looking into?
Yes.
Yes.
Actually, we have picked out our puppy. Heather made a video. Well, not really all about that. Heather made a video about our last dog, which kind of briefly touched on this. But we cannot replace our corgi Ollie, who passed away. And he was
just irreplaceable.
Yeah, he was a very unique guy. From the time I met him at 8 weeks old, he was just one of a kind. He was just a very unique guy. But he was a corgi, and corgis have certain traits that just sort of carry it. They're very strong-minded. They're very goofy. They're very smart. They're very people-focused. And so we definitely decided that we wanted that corgi vibe to continue on. And so we found a tri-colored, fluffy corgi with a tail, which is just like
a unicorn.
Yeah, so it's corgis aren't supposed to have tails. Ollie had a tail. This guy has a tail. This guy's also fluffy coated, which is, it's not a health thing, but it's just sort of a genetic thing where corgis aren't supposed to be kind of fluffier, and this guy's fluffier, and he's mostly black and white. So he's still a corgi, but he's looks totally different than Ollie. We haven't met him in person yet, but he sounds like his personality is different, of course. And so our pickup date is in a couple weeks.
Yes, we're so excited.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of prep and watching YouTube videos about puppy training.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of like puppy prep. But that's been super fun. I mean, it's crazy. Like, if you want to get a dog now, it's really hard, which is good. Animal shelters are largely empty. If you're talking to breeders, they have like nothing available. It's very hard to find dogs now because everybody's at home and wanting to adopt dogs. My hope is that they continue to take care of those dogs once they go back to work. For us, we wanted one. Well, we wanted one, but also we want to make sure we got one heading into summer is good because I have time off where I'm not trying to do digital school, but like it's actual time off, spend it with the puppy, get things kind of in a good place before I go back to work, whatever going back to work looks like.
Are you getting a dog through a breeder? Scandal.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
I've had pound dogs. I've had breeder dogs. I've had, Ben is under the table that we're sitting at. He was just an accident. So I've had all the dogs, but yeah, breeder's good. It really depends on the breeder. But being able to know the health history of the dog's family and parents and something we decided was really important.
We wanted to prioritize.
Because God, we want to do everything we can to get as many years possible with a dog.
Yeah. So those are all the questions I had. I'm trying to see if there was something that
that was fun.
Was it?
I had a lot of fun.
I'm trying to think if there's something I didn't ask. Okay, so we're almost halfway through 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember what your New Year's resolution was, and has it changed?
I don't remember what the resolution was. We did our New Year's Eve live stream where we're like, new decade, yay!
Oh my god!
And now it's like 2020,
so, like bad for our naive selves. We no idea.
I know.
But okay, we make the most of what we got, right?
We're in a far more fortunate situation than many people, and we try to do our best to remember that.
So you've talked about your goals for the Enthusiasm Project. Do you have any other goals that you want to share? Maybe personal goals that you want to share for the rest of the year? I know we're getting married, we're getting a puppy, and all these things. But...
So here kind of like before all this happened, I was having a lot of stress at work. Where I was,
oh my gosh,
it was bad.
Honestly, like I feel bad saying this, but like there were days where I just would look at him when he would come home, and it just was this negative, like sad energy of fatigue. You were just so exhausted.
It was bad, and I think that this whole thing has hopefully been some kind of reset, not just for me, but for a lot of people. I know that having this thrown on us and then seeing the way people I work with are handling it and the things that they're doing. And I have a totally different appreciation and a different view on a lot of people that I work with. And I think everybody kind of feels that a little bit. And I hope that when we go back to working in person, we remember that. And maybe like I hope to just keep things in perspective more, where it's like we can focus on the stuff that matters, ignore the stuff that really doesn't matter, and put the like humanity first. Isn't that a slogan from somebody?
Andrew Yang.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Wow. You're so yanged out. It like literally got into my subconscious. But hopefully to the point where we can put like where we can literally just remember that more than anything.
People, yeah.
I think that's kind of my goal, is keep things in perspective, focus on what really matters the most. And having lost Ollie this year, Ben had a health scare a couple weeks ago. Like,
it's been a rough year. Yo.
The point where you can sit in a room and live stream is such a privilege, and like it's just I like being able to focus on those kinds of problems is something I want to appreciate and not be stressed out about.
So we had another question that I forgot to ask. Question 2 from Mr. JRH. What do you think about Tesla possibly moving to Texas?
That's I'm the person to come to for your Tesla news. I do have Tesla stock, which has always done very well, but Elon Musk seems to be going crazy. So I don't know. I was actually I thought this was good. I was reading an article about this that then, of course, ran into the comment section. And there was a whole discussion in the comments about that in general, industries do better. Industries are filled with these people who rise to positions of power and think that they can't be replaced. Things are better when people in those positions know that they're replaceable, because it just changes their perspective on things. And so if Tesla wants to shut down and leave or whatever, if you think there aren't other people out there who want to be innovative and want to take it's not like, I know, like, I like a lot of the things they do. I like a lot of things Elon Musk does. He's not the only smart guy who has good ideas. And it seems like he's just gone sort of off the rails lately, and maybe needs to be reminded of that a little bit, is what I'll say.
He just had a kid, so maybe
he's getting no sleep and he's stressed out. Then I don't know.
Yeah. Is the black and white cookie still your favorite?
The black and white cookie, native to New York City, is one of my favorites, but a classic chocolate chip will always be the favorite. Dark chocolate chip.
Okay, we're gonna wind down here. I have another question I just thought of. If you can go anywhere in the world, where would you go and why?
Okay. I know there's other answers. We wanted to go to Japan on our honeymoon. I would love to be able to go one day. So I'm tempted to go, like, I would love to go to Japan, because that means everything's okay and we could travel. You know where I would really want to go that isn't just like home with everyone? I would love to go back to the hotel we stayed in Zermatt, Switzerland, and just enjoy peace and serenity and happiness, and be able to bring the dogs. And that's where I would want to go.
So Tom has a video on his YouTube channel where it is kind of a vlog from our trip to Switzerland. When we left this hotel that we stayed at,
unexpectedly, because I messed up our train tickets, we had to leave a night early. This like Hotel Marial, Zermatt, Switzerland, can't get better than that.
He started crying.
Yes, for a long time. I will still tear up if I think about it.
He was so sad that we had to leave, and I felt so bad. But honestly, guys, like it's not a hotel, it's an experience, because literally our balcony was in the middle of the Alps. And like there was this one day where like the like morning fog had come in, and it was like kind of sprinkling, and then the like view outside our window was like the Alps. There was also a freaking like bridge with the train going over with the waterfall.
If you look behind the hotel, it was the Matterhorn.
Yeah. I mean, like that was, and then like the rain's falling, and we just had the doors open, and it was like, this is incredible. Like that's like paragliders. A life moment. Yeah, I'm never gonna forget.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a good one.
My dream is to go back there and stay in that same room at some point.
Of all of Heather's friends who live in New York, who is your favorite?
Well,
we'd be so happy that you guys got to hang out.
Yeah, it would definitely be Su Yun. who is just, I'm really happy that Heather has you as a friend.
Oh, cute.
You guys are very good for each other.
Let's see. If you could have a superpower, what would it be and why?
Oh, I've thought about this one. I had a great answer and I don't remember what it was because it's that it's clearly that important to me. The power of, I don't know. I don't really like, I don't know, invisibility.
No,
Power
lame.
Find the power to fly. The power to,
Lame. Even lamer. Why would you fly if you can teleport?
that's true. I don't even like heights. Oh, power of teleportation.
Yes.
Yes. Or the power of telekinesis. would be
Nah, I
fun.
could do without that.
You could.
Clearly, I'm opinionated on this. Okay, so teleportation, number one.
Teleportation's a
Number
good
two,
one.
photogenic memory. I would love to just be able to like read a book and I know everything. That would be awesome. And then healing.
So healing, this is like, okay, because you wouldn't really want to live forever though, would you?
Yeah, okay, fine. But like, can I cure cancer?
Okay. Yeah, you can. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Okay, we have to go one more question. What is your favorite? What's
so you
your
said mind control.
mind control? Korea during fall season is amazing. You should definitely go there. Oh,
Captain
Korea.
JC Rage said that.
Yeah.
I'm assuming South Korea.
Mind control. Would you want to control minds? I wouldn't want to get in anyone.
I don't
else's
want
head
to
except
get
mine.
anyone's. I don't want to affect free will of others. I just want to do my own thing.
I could
Maybe
see
that's
you,
why I
like,
went towards
stressed out.
invisibility because it's like I'm just gonna disappear and be over here for a while.
Tom wants to have like the littlest effect on people, unless it's a positive impact. Go subscribe to his YouTube channel. but
Yes, there we go.
He constantly thinks he's an inconvenience. Healing, helping humankind was third. Just saying.
Yeah, when I said telekinesis, I was imagining literally like the TV control.
I know, but that's it. Like that's all you would get.
I don't know.
It's like
Okay. You were saying something though.
I forgot what I was saying.
Okay. That was fun. Thank you for hosting this and managing comments and keeping it upbeat and keeping me
I
on
hope
track.
that was okay.
That was quite the effort.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
Well, if you guys are listening to this podcast and if you want us to do this again, we should totally do it in like 3 months.
Well, what I
We'll
would
do
love
an
to do,
update.
I was going to ask you this
What?
off pod because
Off pod.
because I didn't want to put you on the spot, but I would love to flip the tables back and do the same thing, but switched.
Oh yeah.
With you in the hot seat and me asking questions.
Let's do it.
I think that would be really interesting.
Anytime.
Cool. Well, probably for the next week's podcast.
Well, we're going to end the podcast and then we're going to keep live streaming. So
Okay.
if you're still here, hang out with us.
And if you're listening to the podcast, where can people find our wonderful guest host, Heather?
At youtube.com/HeatherJustCreate.
And of course, I'm at Sodar and Tom and all the things. And on the podcast, if you visit anchor.fm/enthusiasm, you can find it there. But you can also leave a voice message and be
Yes,
included in a
call
future episode,
in.
which would be super fun. If you had anything to add to our discussion today, any points you want to bring up, any questions, add them there, and we will go ahead and do that. So thank you for listening. Thank you to
for
Heather.
listening. Thank you to Tom.
My name is Tom. This has been the Enthusiasm Project, and we will see you next time. There we go. And we're done with the podcast. It's all edited. I don't need to edit. I just need to
Yep.
upload it.
File saved. Just switch out the memory card.
It's all right here.
Bam.
That's why I love the Rodecaster.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. Can you even see it? It's a whole thing.
It's this whole guy.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. So that was really fun. Thank you. I can take this off now.
Yeah. Did you like it? Did I do okay?
You did wonderful.
I started getting distracted by the comments.
It was tough. And then there was some bad comments.
Do you get
Yes.
bad comments?
Yeah. I just started deleting them.
Like what?
They're not as bad as the ones I've seen you get.
It sucks.
I've seen you get like sexist, racist,
Yeah.
just every terrible thing. Mine is literally like, you know how people will come into YouTube and they'll be like video starts at 2:53 or whatever, which is really annoying. but I sometimes people will come in, which is dumb because I also put timestamps on all my videos, so
Yeah.
it's already sorted for you where everything is. But someone will be like, he shuts the f up at 2:53, and I'm like, it's my channel. Like I cannot shut f up all I want. And then it's a lot of spam. I guess spam is a big thing. And then sometimes I get, because I do equipment things and tutorials, I get people throwing out definitive statements on very subjective areas, which like is annoying, but it's, you know, they'll tell me like my video is worthless or
Aww.
I mean, it's like, and then I'll, you know, sometimes I'll just delete it, sometimes I'll leave it, sometimes I respond to it. It kind of depends on the person.
Yeah, my bad comments are they're usually, you know, like we just had some. I was like, show me your
It's
leg.
so different for girls than guys. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but like the good comments are so good. Like
Yeah.
people will take time to write paragraphs and stuff, and that's really nice.
You
so.
taught me the importance of like screenshotting the good ones so that you
Oh
have
yeah, totally.
a catalog of them.
those.
It's easy. You think like, oh, I remember, or you, like, you know, you forget where they are. So like keeping them so you have them is really key. It's
Yeah.
a big deal. Someone like took their time to watch your thing and leave a thoughtful remark.
All right, so let's segue from podcast back to live stream.
Yeah.
What's top of mind, Tom?
I don't know. Now I'm just thinking about what I need to do for a podcast. Because I need to upload that sucker for tomorrow for midnight. But that's easy.
Oh wow, you do it at midnight?
I release them at midnight because I realize a lot of the ones I listen to do that. Not that a lot of people have commutes anymore, but it's really helpful if people get up early in the morning for their commutes, for things just be ready very early.
What's your favorite podcast ever?
Ever?
Okay, fine. Favorite podcast. Let me take out the ever.
I've been really loving Talking Simpsons lately, just Simpsons podcast. I love Reply All, which you showed me. Serial and S-Town. S-Town's got to be, I mean, that's a special place.
Yeah, top 3 for sure.
Yeah. It's only 7 episodes. If you never listened to it, go listen to every episode of S-Town. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the best audio storytelling I've ever heard. And you're big on Criminal.
Oh my God, I love Criminal. I love Phoebe Judge.
You have merch from that podcast.
I have merch. I have the shirt. It's so good. I just love it so much. I can't even, like, I think I tear up every episode because it's just so fantastic. Like when she does her intro, she lays down the introduction of the story, and then like it goes into the hook, like, oh my God, this is why you should watch. And then she goes, I'm Phoebe Judge, and this is Criminal. Cue in the music.
I know.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Let's see what else.
What do you mean, what else?
What are we doing when we get off of this?
Probably playing Animal Crossing and eating dinner. I love Animal Crossing.
When are we going to do our Animal Crossing island tour?
When you feel that our island is ready. Heather turned into the island designer. So, okay, we started Animal Crossing and her thing was like, I just love to like fish and collect bugs and earn money and like just sort of check off the boxes and achieve the goals. And I was like trying to set up a room and, you know, redesign the island a little bit. She was like, I don't care about any of this. I don't care where the trees go or whatever. I'm like scared to touch things on our island now. Not really, but like she has gone through, she made an entire mid-century modern hotel. At least the lobby is finished, and she's doing like the themed out rooms with the gym. She redesigned like the whole entryway. So when you come into like our island, it's all waterfalls and flowers and specific kinds of flowers. Then she's setting up flowers to like breed with each other in certain ways. She really went for it there. So we made some changes yesterday to the island. We got to get those set, and then we'd probably be ready for a tour. And I made a talk show set in our basement, which is amazing.
It's so awesome.
Cool.
I can't wait to show everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
this is where we spend most of our time.
Yeah. It's
on
good.
Ollieville.
Yes.
That's our island in Animal Crossing. Go visit us. Come visit us.
I don't know how you can do that, but we just say gates are open and put the code or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We should do that. That'd be
We
fun.
should. I know.
Okay. Maybe that could be a live stream.
What? Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
That'd be cool. What else is
Taking care of our dog down here.
I want deep dish pizza.
I know. Our friends, Mark and James, did a deep dish pizza video today, and it looked really good. And there's a deep dish pizza place nearby that has even vegetarian deep dish pizza. But yeah, probably just have frozen food or something.
How do you feel about no masks, no social distancing?
I am still going to do those things because I don't know if you've ever seen that graph of the Spanish flu waves where the second wave is 3 times the size of the first wave because everyone was like, we're done. We're going to go out and like hang out. And then it got way worse. I'm just saying, I'd be happy to be wrong about that, but I'm going to keep being safe and sane, and we will see. Guess it'll take a couple weeks to really know what the effects really are.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to stay safe.
What's been another highlight of quarantine?
Getting to spend time together.
Oh,
For sure. I mean, yikes. Like, it's been a lot of hours and days, just endless days. There's been a couple times where I've had to go to school for, like an hour or so. And that's kind of the only time that we have not been together, or those situations.
and I love every moment of it.
Yeah, it's been great. Like, being able to like dive into creative things, spend time with the dog. We've been really training our dog Ben, who had some bad habits, and he's been like transforming into like this wonder dog, and preps for a new dog. He's under here right now. Yeah, so that's that kind of stuff. Just focusing on like home and family has been really cool.
Aw.
I love it.
Do you have any questions for me, Tom?
How do you feel about where you're at with your digital media creation, all your outlets, all your platforms?
Horrible.
Why?
Because I haven't been doing it.
Why?
I know, it's a good question.
I'm going to take the toddler thing, and I'm just going to keep asking why for everything you say.
I think it's just I think it's a mix of things of like I think the biggest thing, I'll tell you this. I'm just realizing this right now. I think the biggest thing that has affected my motivation is not seeing people, because one of the biggest things, like whenever I felt the lack of motivation, I'd go to a networking event and feel like amped. Like it's just something, there's something to be said. Not that you're, not enough, but like being around other entrepreneurs, being around other people who are creating things. And especially hearing what they're struggling with and then coming up with ideas for them, where it's not necessarily the thing that I offer, but just like I'm still valuable. Like I can still, and as I'm talking this out loud, I could be like, okay, well, if you make videos, then I can kind of simulate or simulate that same thing. So I'm sure it's just like I switched gears so much. Like I had to stop. All the personal stuff like Ollie, that everything grinded to a halt. Then I had to do 0-2 Hero, so everything grinded to a halt until that was done. And then like I just have had a hard time switching back into like just execution mode. But yesterday I uploaded a vlog and feel really good about it. I cried on it, but it being that vulnerable in a YouTube vlog reminded me of why I did it, because like it is that feeling of just like, oh, I feel relieved and I feel like good that I did that. And I don't know why, but that's what I get out of creating on YouTube. So I feel like it's kicked something.
That's good.
I wish I had that same work ethic of like, it doesn't matter how you feel about it, just do it because you got to do it.
Well, I have fun with like, I want to do more. So like I don't want it to seem like I hate my videos and I want to do this. Like I genuinely love making them, but yeah, but just the like, because once you start, things usually start falling into place, but starting is hard.
Yeah. I always imagine, like whenever I feel like I'm in a rut, I always imagine myself in that movie?
Yes.
The Neverending Story. I had to remember what it was called. Yeah. So remember the Atreyu, the horse who gets stuck in the quicksand or whatever? That's what I feel like. I feel like I'm stuck in the quicksand and I'm trying to stand. And at some point the horse is just like, forget it. I'm not getting out of this thing. That's how I feel. It's just like, surrender. I can't. And obviously I know, I don't know, call that depression, call that anxiety, call that quarantine life. I'm not being that hard on myself. I've like, plus like I if you were to ask me if I'm happy, I am. I'm really happy with spending time with you and Ben and all that. But it's just I feel like as an entrepreneur, you have to be able to be creative and resourceful, and that you may have a system that works for now, but everything can hit the fan and you just have to adapt. And I think there's just this part of me that wishes that my normal regular things that I would go to for a kick in the butt were there. Like, I wish I could just go to a networking event. It would just be so easy. Like, Tom knows, every time I would come back, it was like I would be glowing. Like, I would feel on fire. And I haven't felt that fire in so long. Although I do have a podcast scheduled where I'm getting interviewed with TubeBuddy, actually.
Oh, that's a big one, because TubeBuddy's like big legit thing. When is that?
Friday.
That's cool.
I'm so nervous about it.
That's gonna be really fun. we'll have to record me interviewing you first so practice.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm nervous in that, like, I wanted to do it because it was, I mean, she's been asking me to do this for forever, which is awesome. And so many people have been asking me, like, let's collab. And I've just been like, oh, I'm not in that like mind space. So I feel like this is the rope that's like pulling me out of the quicksand.
You know what I think, though? I think, having been a lifelong fan of late night TV talk shows, you start to get to know how different like celebrity guests are on them. And there's a few people that have good reputations, people that have bad reputations from the host's point of view. And so you can think of, like, there's celebrities who come on for their movies and they just sort of sit there in like the chair, and the celebrity's like, yeah, so tell me about making set. Like, yeah, the movie, it was a good experience or whatever. And you can just see them like trying to pull something out, nothing's happening. And then you have guests like Will Ferrell, where like they
just lean in.
they plan entire things, right. Or like, Paul Rudd goes on Conan and plays that same clip from whatever it is, like Max and Me or whatever that movie is. Every time he promotes a movie for like 16 years, he just plays the same clip from the bad old movie. And stuff like that. Like, I saw with Tony, we saw Conan's premiere of The Tonight Show in person in the front row, where Will Ferrell was the guest, and he came out on, we had like 6 like shirtless buff guys carrying him out on one of those like Roman things, like an emperor or whatever. And Conan had no idea that was going to happen. And then like he was there the whole time. He was like in the audience, like giving like, there's people who just bring it, and there's people that you have to like pull it out of. I think no matter the circumstance, you're somebody who brings it. And I don't think you realize that because it's just what you do. See, but when other people are so used to not having that be the case, that when they interact with you, it seems so natural to you, like you're not doing anything, but it's just this whole different world to them. And I think that's always what's going to happen, even if you feel nervous about it.
Right. But see, like, everything you just described is what I miss, like, from being out in the world.
Right.
It's like it's the same thing as you. Like, you get interviewed for a podcast and you're on fire after. Like, he like bursts out of the door and he's like, oh my God, I had so much fun talking to this guy from Belfast or whatever. And I would come home from a networking event and be like, oh my God, I had so much fun. I just met this person. We brainstorm ideas for this and that. Yeah. And like, it's just, I want that again, and I don't know what I need to do.
It's hard to replicate that with like Zoom and stuff.
It's
I mean,
not
live
possible,
streams are pretty
honestly.
good.
Live streams are pretty good, but like nothing will compare to face-to-face interaction. Zoom is great, but you can't have the side conversations. Like, everyone has to listen to the one person talking, and that's where it like
do the private chat.
Yeah, I wish there were a way where like you can create multiple conversations, which doesn't, it's not possible. But anyway, that's my headspace. That's where I'm at.
That makes sense.
Which is crazy because we didn't even like talk about that.
What?
I don't even think I told you that I was feeling this.
I don't know. I mean, I knew you were. I don't know. You don't need to tell me. I just know.
Yeah. Well, that was the answer to your question.
I don't remember what my question was. I'm not as good at it.
How do you feel about
where you're at right now? Yeah. Well, because the reason I asked that question is that we talked about fun. And I remember how much fun you can have when you make your stuff and how excited you can get, even when you're working really hard. And I can tell that hasn't been there recently. And it's nothing, again, like you said, it's nothing to beat yourself up over. But I know that's such a key component to making it sustainable. And
I'm trying the
Yeah.
topic approach this time.
what do you mean?
So like instead of, like the last time I daily vlogged, it was just you capture the day.
Right.
Which I love doing. Like I still love that, but like right now it just doesn't, like I don't see how I can make 10 videos every day just about our day where there's something significant happening every day. So I wanted to try the topic approach of like I have to plan a topic and then make the video from there, which is weird because like isn't that what you normally do? It actually isn't. Like I don't plan my vlogs. It's just kind of like this is what's happening right now. And I love capturing it and telling the story of what it was like to be there or meet this person or whatever. But this time I'm like, okay, like, 10 random facts about Ben or something, or I don't know.
New puppy offers a lot of
like how
stories.
But I don't want it to just be about the dogs, but
Right.
like, whatever. There's a topic and then I go from there. I pulled out my vlog notebook today to see what was the last thing I wrote. And it was like, I wanted to do a whole commentary on the rise and fall of WeWork.
Oh, wow.
That was the
When was that?
It must have been February.
Yeah, like earlier this year.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Which is so like the rise and fall of WeWork, the rise and fall of all of the economy.
Yeah, man. So innocent we were.
I know. So anyway, well, if you're still there, hi. Leave a comment. Say hi. This mic is covering my face. Can you still hear me?
Oh, it sounds good.
Yeah?
Yeah. You just look super pro, like Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan.
Got Heather Rogan over here. You can tell me to look stuff up on the computer for you.
I'm not changing my name.
You're not?
No.
Why?
Because Heather Buck. Guys. Like, really? Would you want that to be your name? What?
That is my name.
No, Heather Buck.
Oh.
Heather Buck.
Jeez, I'm right.
No. Tom Buck sounds real cool. But Heather Buck does not sound cool. It's just a weird like stacking of like those syllables. There's just Heather Buck. Like, bah. It's like bah. I don't know.
It's your name. I would never want you to have a name you didn't enjoy.
Thank you.
That's what I will say.
Do you have anything else to say?
I mean, we've been going for a while.
Yeah.
The big thing I'm actually worried about. I would love to keep talking, but I'm worried about our dog down here.
Oh,
he wants his home food.
All right.
We owe him. We started doing Heather started making him homemade dog food for half of his meals, which are a huge hit. And so his morning meal is kibble, and his evening meal is rice, chicken, turkey, sweet potato, and carrots,
and green beans,
all done in like the instant pot. And he really likes it. And he's down here like getting restless and whining and stuff.
Yeah. So we're gonna take him out, but thanks for joining us, and go check out the podcast on the Enthusiasm Project on Anchor.
Yeah, anchor.fm/enthusiasm. That's there. All the episodes, and Heather might be next week's guest.
We should live stream that one too.
Yeah, it should be the same thing, but like flipped. That was really fun. So thank you for doing that. I really appreciate it.
All right. Catch you guys later.
All right.
Bye.